So, have you ever thought of what your intelligence score really means? Very few people have had their intelligence score taken, and 1 through 24 is mental disability, 70 through 84 are borderline mental disability, and 85 through 114 is above. I'm sorry, is average intelligence. And then 115 to 129 is above average or bright, moderately gifted 130 to 144, which mean nothing once you get into the average, because even people like this who were thought to have been kind of borderline mental disability have done great things. And people place a lot of intelligence on these intelligence quotients. But here's the situation. If you ever want to know how you're doing with these scores, you can look at a percentile. So when you guys get back your SAT scores, you're going to get a percentile. And if someone says, where is the 20th percentile? What is the 20th percentile? It means 20% of the people who took this test scored below you. Okay, scored below this mark, whatever the 20th percentile is. There are 20 numbers here. And so when you get ready to figure out what the percentile is, you're pretty much going to have to do these percentiles in certain scores. So let's say you want to do a score over something. I'm going to get onto this on the next slide. Okay, now up here I have here that your percentile is not this. It is certainly not a percentage. You need your percentages to get the score. Okay, and your percentile is a position in a list of numerical data which the nth percentile lies below it. So some people are in the 90th percentile. That means that 90% of the people who took this test scored lower. Rarely will they use percentile ranks to make higher. So your rank equals percentage. 100 is a standard number when you're dealing with a unit. And this number means the number you're looking for plus 1. It's actually the number of scores. So this would be 20 scores plus 1. We're going to go over another way to do it also. This is 20 plus 1. Okay, so let's take a look at how you do this in the real world. Find the percentile rank for the test score of 83. Well, this is the 4th score. So that's the rank. These are your scores. And this written in green is your rank. Okay, so you want to know what it is for this score, 83. Okay, number of scores is 9. So you put 9 plus 1, which of course is 10. Okay, let's move on. So I did the same thing here. I put the rank here, and you're just going to replace here. Did it here, and then wrote it better over here. 4 equals a percentage over 100 plus 9 plus 1, which is 10. And because it's a percentage, I'm going to go on ahead and put 10. Some of you and your math teachers have told you this is your steps here. And this is just explaining the steps, so we're going repetitively here. And I'm going to go on ahead and write 10 here. Some of you teachers have told you that when you're dealing with percentages, you put a 10 here, or a decimal here in front of the 10, so that when you get 100 times 0.10, you are going to find out that this is going to come out to be a number. A lot of you, your teachers told you just cross out these zeros, and you end up with 10, which is actually easier. So you have this here. But I like to be very forward and show what's going on. And because you have a decimal here, you're going to end up, this looks like a 6 here, you're going to end up with a 0, a 0, a 1. Did I do this right? 0, 0, 0, 1. Yeah, that's right. Okay, and I'm sorry, your 1 is here. Let's do this again. Okay. Ten percent of 100 is 10. 0, 0, 0 times the number is 0. I don't know why I had a 1 there. Brain fart, talk about IQs. Here's a 0. Here's 1 times 0. Here's a 0. Here's a 1. Okay, now we're back on track. When you have long days like this, or when you're taking a test, you've got to go over it and make sure you see something that doesn't make sense. This is just to illustrate a point. Most of us already know that you can cross this, and there's your 10. Okay, it's 2 decimals. There's our 10, and there's our decimal. So either way we do it, it is ultimately very much faster if you just cross these out and you make this 10. So now let's go on. I'll put the percentage here. This is an extra slide. And we're going to cross multiply here. When you cross multiply like this becomes 40. This is this. And this is your answer. Check. So your percentile rank is the 40th percentile, which means 40% of the people who took the test scored lower than you did. And that's not too bad, because it also depends upon the test you had. So sometimes people don't pay attention to their percentile ranks. Okay? So when we get ready to move on, okay, step 1, when we're going to do this type of problem, is pretty straightforward. It says make sure you look at all the numbers. Well, look at all the numbers and the ranges to make sure they're in order. That's what this means. And also make sure that you have a range. So like you automatically can start putting things together. So you know that if 70, so that if you want to know what the numbers are, you know what you're doing. So this says pretty much, let's go on to step 2, which is down here. And step 2 says find the 4th number in the test scores. Why are we doing that? Because like step 1 said, look at all your numbers. You have one number here that starts with 12. And then you have your other number here, or your last number that starts with 70. And your range is pretty much going to be 70 minus 12. So guess what? You have a range here that's going to be 58. So you know your score to be in the 20th percentile is going to have to be beyond smaller than this, because your range is here. And the reason your range is so great is because your small number is 12 and 70 is your number. But anyway, we digressed from that. So let's go back and let's look at, there are 20 scores total, and that's why we numbered these. This is your 2nd score, 4th score. I just did the odds. I just skipped around. Okay, this is 19th score. So you have 20 scores. So you have 20 scores and times 100, and this is the percentile. That's what this 20th P is. That's what this 20p is. So this formula is P for percentile times scores. And again, it's over 100. And why? Because Everything is a part of 100. Sometimes you'll get 1,000 as a score, but in general, most things are 100. Anything that's pretty much standard, they convert it to 100%. So that's the total percentage you can get. And let me make this P a little bit better so that we understand that this is times a percent. Okay? So your percent was 20th times 20 scores came out to 400 over this percentage 100. And when you did that and you took out these two zeros, you got this over here, which was 4 over 1. So now you have 4, and you're going to go find the fourth number, which is 19. And some people say, well, so it's below this. But in percentiles, you want to be careful and you want to make sure it's between the two. So again, it was 19 and 20. 19, 20, add, you get 39. 2 into 39 gives you 19.5. So you're pretty close. Why am I doing that? I want to take the fourth score and I want to do the fifth score and I want to do a median. Why? So your fourth score is 19. Your fifth score is 20th. I want a median number. I want the middle between them. Okay? Really, I want an average, which is 19.5. You divide that, and you're going to end up with 19.5. So what do we do next? All scores below 19.5 are in the 20th percentile. So guess what? You're just going to go up a little. It's below 1, 2, 3, 4. And guess what? Isn't that below 20 anyway? 20, 20th, but your percentile is 19.5. Okay? And that's how you get all those weird SAT scores, like when you get back, you scored in the 58th percentile, you scored in this, because they do things like that. They take these two numbers and average them. So all scores below 19.5 are in the 20th percentile. Okay, so we can move on. What score is in the 77th percentile? Same numbers, 12 and 70, same range of 58. But guess what? You're going to have to take 20 scores up here. Your percentage is given to you, so it's the same thing. This is your percentage. This is your 20. There are 20 scores in all. And we didn't do anything with this 100. It is still there. Over this 100. And then you multiplied here, 77 times 0.20. You can put that there or not. It doesn't matter. It's going to cross out anyway, because once you take this 0 off, you can then divide 10 into 154. And those of us doing math know what? This is going to be 1. This is going to be 10. This is going to be 5. This is going to be 4. 10 times 5 is 50. And you need your decimal because you're going to have a remainder here. And 4 tenths is 0.4. Okay, next up, scores at 15.4. That's not a real score. You're doing the scores again, what the numbers are. A lot of people make the mistake, they come up here and they'll say, okay, 15.4 would be here, so I'm going to do this. But that doesn't make any sense for the 77th percentile because your lowest score was 12. So 77th percentile is going to go kind of upper. So it would make total sense, right? Right. Of course, 77th percentile would be more, going a little bit more upward. So what are you going to do? Okay, you're going to come up here in between 15 and 16 because that was 15.4. So 77th percentile is anyone who made 58 and beyond. And remember, if that's like, okay, that means that 77% or more of the people scored below you, that would make sense because these are your upper scores: 62, 63, 65, 66, 70. Those are your upper scores. Okay, and these are your lower scores. So that means that all these people are not in the 77th percentile. These people are probably like in the 60th, 58th, as we did. These people are going a little bit more towards the 40th. These are in the 30th and 20th. Anything down, then 19th, and this would be like the second percentile. So you want to try to think to see what's going on, see if you can think about how this really works. Okay, I'm going to go over the most common is the 10th percentile range and the 90th percentile. 90% of the people took the test score lower than you. That's what you want to do if you're on the SAT or standardized test. If you can't do it, you certainly want to go into the 60th or the 70th, just because colleges are taking these scores competitively and you want to do the best you can. So you want to go 60% and up. Okay, so I think pretty much that's it.